Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nastaprayeshu Vapadareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtiki. So we'll chant one invocation prayer to beg blessings of the Supreme Lord and all of our acharyas so that we can have a nice, fruitful discussion today. So if you know, you can repeat along. If not, just hear. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamayam Dhanati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuddha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamstra Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamstra Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So again, I'd like to beg the blessings of all the assembled devotees so that we can have a nice discussion in preparation for Shri Krishna Janmashtami. So, today we'll start, the first half of the discussion will be a little bit more philosophical and technical, discussing a little bit about the appearance of the Lord. And then the second half we'll discuss some different pastimes of the Lord, which are very sweet and enchanting to hear and to nourish the soul and give us some things to meditate upon as we approach Shri Krishna Janmashtami. So we'll start with a little bit of technical discussion and just understanding a little bit about the appearance of the Supreme Lord, because it's not so easily understood about the appearance of the Lord. But Krishna makes an extraordinary statement in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vedi tattvataha Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam iti sorjana. He says, if you understand the nature of my appearance, and my activities, then you will never have to return back to this material world, and you can go back home, back to Godhead. Just by understanding Krishna's appearance and activities. Don't need to do thousands of years of intense austerity, great intense meditation, complicated yagyas. No. Krishna says, just by understanding the nature of my appearance, janma, and activities, karma. These two things give us the key to unlock our path back home, back to Godhead. And what awaits us back home, back to Godhead? A life full of bliss and happiness. Vai kunta. Vai means without, kunta means miseries, difficulties. Anybody want to be free of any difficulties? No more stress, no more anxiety, no more fear, no more lamentations? Just a few of us? Oh, okay. All of us? Okay. I think we all want it. We wake up every day, every morning, with one goal in mind. And what is that? To be happy. Anybody woke up this morning today wanting to be unhappy? We never wake up wanting to be unhappy. Every morning we wake up, all right, what can I do today to give me more happiness? That is our goal. And so Krishna is telling us that just understand the nature of my appearance and activities. And you'll find eternal, not temporary, limited, but eternal, unlimited happiness. So this is the statement he makes in the Bhagavad Gita. And so we're going to dissect that a little bit by hearing more. And hearing these pastimes and activities of the Lord are so sweet and so nourishing. We call them transcendental. Sometimes that's like kind of an innocuous word, or word. What does that mean, really, transcendental? It means that it goes beyond the platform, beyond the perspective of the body, this temporary nature, but it goes to a higher realm. Let's leave it at that first. So Shukadeva Goswami is speaking with Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj makes an extraordinary statement in the beginning of this 10th canto. This 10th canto is of Srimad Bhagavatam. How many of you have Srimad Bhagavatam at home? Okay, many of you. And I pray today that all of you, the remaining, will also at least desire today to bring Srimad Bhagavatam into your home. Because the Srimad Bhagavatam is containing 12 cantos of pure nectar, bliss, amazing pastimes and stories and instructions. And within the 12 cantos, the 10th canto discusses Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the conversation we have to kind of put some context to. So Parikshit Maharaj has been cursed that he is going to die. In how many days? 7 days. So what did he do? Go to Disney World, go to Paris, go see the 7 wonders of the world in his last 7 days? What did he decide to do? He said, let me understand from my Guru what is the best process to leave this world, to leave this body. So he sat down on the banks of the river. And he heard from Shukadeva Goswami. Now, he was hearing in such a way that was quite extraordinary. For 7 days and 7 nights, he heard uninterruptedly. But of course, the speaker might be worried. You know, if I were to speak like this today, and it becomes 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock, I'll know, everybody must be hungry, they must be tired, let me finish. But Parikshit Maharaj was so enthralled in hearing that at the beginning of discussing Krishna's pastimes, Parikshit Maharaj tells him, don't cut any corners. Don't be worried that I am hungry or thirsty or tired. Please, I want to hear all of this in detail. And he makes it a very extraordinary statement. But to understand the statement, let me provide a little bit of context first. Suppose you have gone 3 days without any food. 3 days without any water, can we sufficiently say you'll be very hungry and very thirsty? Regardless of your ability to control your appetite, control your bodily urges, still you'll be very hungry and very thirsty. Now, what will satisfy you in this condition? Food and water. Somebody comes and gives you a bag full of diamonds. Will that satisfy you? Maybe for about a second, as you dream about, oh, the diamonds. But then you'll realize, I am hungry and thirsty. Somebody comes and gives you world power. You can rule the whole world. Will you be satisfied with that power? Why? Because you are hungry and thirsty. You become world famous. So many followers on Instagram and Facebook that you can't even keep up with it. You become a public figure. You have a publicist managing your fame. You'll be satisfied? The point of the matter is you can have all the accoutrements of the world, but if you're hungry and thirsty, you cannot be satisfied. So what will satisfy you? We hear food and water. Hear what Parikshit Maharaj says. Beautiful statement. Now remember, this is, approximately day 6 of his going without eating, without sleeping, without drinking. He says, because of my vow on the verge of death, I have given up even drinking water. Yet because I am drinking the nectar of the topics about Krishna, which is flowing from your mouth of your lordship, my hunger and thirst, which are extremely difficult to bear, cannot hinder me. So Shukadeva Parikshit Maharaj is saying that the topics of the Supreme Lord are so sweet that even the very difficult to bear hunger and thirst pose no hindrance when one is absorbed in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. They're so sweet. Now, of course, we are not on the purified platform where we can hear, and trust me, Prasadam is coming in just 35 minutes, so don't worry. We will not extend the hunger and thirst of all of you, recognizing, one, the speaker must be at the level of Shukadeva Goswami, which case today is not, and also all of us, as hearers, must be at the level of Parikshit Maharaj. But the point of the matter is that these pastimes of the Supreme Lord are actually very soothing to us. To all of the trials and tribulations that we face in the world, of which there are many, hearing and understanding about the Supreme Lord is actually the remedy, actually the soothing balm to help us find peace and happiness in the midst of all of the different difficulties. And this is what Parikshit Maharaj had encountered, and what we can also encounter by taking to understand about the Supreme Lord a little bit. So I'll read one verse this is from chapter 8 of Canto 10. It's text number 13. And I'm sorry, my eyes are not able to read the unbolded section here. Yes, I can now, it's coming in focus. Asan varnastrayo hisha graha nato anigam tanuha Shukka Rakta Satapita Idani Krishnatam Gataha. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Your son Krishna, this is Garga Muni speaking to Nanda Maharaj at the naming ceremony of Krishna. So Krishna has appeared. They're residing in Gokul. And now Garga Muni has come to name Krishna and Balaram. They're doing it in a very private location, in the cowshed of Nanda Baba, because they don't want to announce Krishna's arrival to who? Kamsa. who is determined to kill the 8th child, the 8th son of Devaki, his own sister, because of the prophecy that child was going to be the killer of gods. So Garga Muni is speaking now. Let me start again. Your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium in the past. He assumed 3 different colors, white, red, and yellow, and now he has appeared in a blackish color. In another Dwapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Ramchandra in the color of a Shuka, a parrot. All such incarnations have now assembled in Krishna. Purport. Partially explaining the position of Lord Krishna and partially covering the facts, Garga Muni indicated, your son is a great personality and he can change the color of his body in different ages. The word Granataha indicates that Krishna is free to make his choice. In other words, he is the supreme personality of Godhead and may therefore do whatever he desires. In Vedic literature, the different colors assumed by the personality of Godhead in different millenniums are stated. And therefore, when Garga Muni said, your son has assumed these colors, he indirectly said, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Because of Kamsa's atrocities, Garga Muni tried to avoid disclosing the fact, but he indirectly informed Nanda Maharaj that Krishna, his son, was the supreme personality of Godhead. Who is Krishna? Who is Krishna? Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're clear. According to the purport, it's very clear. It may be noted that Srila Jiva Goswami in his book, the Brahma Sandarbha, has enunciated the purport of this verse. In every millennium, Krishna appears in a different form, either as white, red, or yellow. But this time, he personally appeared in his original blackish form, and as predicted by Garga Muni, exhibited the power of Narayan. Because in this form, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, exists himself fully. His name is Sri Krishna, the all-attractive. Factually, Krishna is the source of all avatars, and therefore all different features of the different avatars are present in Krishna. When Krishna incarnates, all the features of the incarnations are already present within him. All other incarnations are partial representations of Krishna, who is full-fledged incarnation of the Supreme Being. It is to be understood that the Supreme Being, whether appearing as a Shuka, Rakta, or Pita, white, red, or yellow, is the same person. Okay, I'll pause there. The purport's quite long, so if you'd like to continue reading it, again, it's 10th canto, 8th chapter, verse number 13. So let's start to break apart this a little bit, and then we'll discuss a few very important and instructive pastimes that carry on from this chapter. So, we see in the purport that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the purport very clearly explains what has been explained in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shukadeva Goswami has given a description of the many incarnations of the Supreme Lord. You know, we know the Dasa avatars as some of the 10 incarnations. But actually there are unlimited incarnations. How many incarnations are there? Just as you cannot count the number of waves in an ocean, like that you cannot even count the number of incarnations. So the Dasa avatars is like a sampling, as a for example. And these are different avatars. But of all the avatars, there must be a source, right? Where are they all coming from? So Shukadeva Goswami says, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the source of all other incarnations. And here Garga Muni is telling Nanda Maharaj that exact same thing again. That Krishna is the source. And from him emanate all the other incarnations. In all the other incarnations, Lord Ramchandra, Lord Nrsingadev, Varaha, Vamana, all the different incarnations, they are partial representations of Krishna. But when Krishna comes himself, all the other incarnations are also present within him. So he is complete, Purna, complete, the whole. And so this is the position of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the source of everything. As Lord Brahma indicated in his Brahma Samhita prayers, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigara, Anadir Adir Govinda. Govinda, we know who Govinda is. It's Krishna. But we don't fully know that Govinda is Anadir Adir. What Anadir Adir means? It means the source of all sources. If I ask, who is your father? This is my father. Who is your father's father? Your father's father's father. Eventually it has to come to one ultimate source. And who is that ultimate source? That is Krishna. That is Krishna. So now, Krishna has appeared in the home of Nanda Maharaj. Right? So, first let's discuss why he appears. So in that verse I quoted at the beginning from Bhagavad Gita, I said, Janma karma chame divyam. If you know Janma, birth, karma, activities, everything, perfection of life is assured. But the question may be, why does he come? Why does he appear? So let's answer that first. Why he appears? He says, just prior to this, in that same chapter, a verse many of you probably know, Paritanayam sadhana, vinashaya chatushkatam, dharma samstapanarthaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. He says, I come for three reasons. One, Paritanaya sadhana, to protect and deliver my devotees. Vinashaya chadushkatam, to destroy the miscreants, the demons. Dharma samstapanarthaya, to re-establish the principles of religion. For that reason, yuge yuge, millennium after millennium, I come. So he's established very clearly why he comes. Our acharyas comment that actually he comes for even a higher reason. Because to destroy the Kamsa, he doesn't need to fight with Kamsa. He is lying on Ananta Shesh as one of his partial expansions as Mahavishnu, Karandakshay Vishnu. And lying down, universes are emanating from the pores of his skin. And within these universes lie millions of planets. And within each of those planets lie billions and trillions of living entities. And he's just lying down. He's not doing anything. He's not even sitting up. So he actually needs to come to take out one of those living entities within one of those planets, within one of those trillions of universes. He could just think it, wish it, will it, and it would happen. We kind of wish we had that power, right? I will that software program would go complete so I don't have to go to work, it just happens and I can stay back and still get paid. That'd be nice. Unfortunately, we don't work that way. But Krishna does. But the real reason he comes, the deeper inner reason he comes, is to actually enjoy with all of his devotees. He enjoys experiencing the love of his devotees. And he comes to the material world to show all of us that when we understand the nature of his appearance and activities, the nature of his appearance and activities, what awaits us. Because when we say we can go back home, back to Godhead, we still want to know, what's it like there? What is my experience going to be there? Right? If somebody says, oh, you should go to Hawaii. Well, that's great. But what's there that's enticing? What's there that's going to give me happiness? That I want to know. And if I know the beautiful beaches, the wonderful weather, this, that, and the other, what happens in my heart? A strong desire to go. So by knowing what are the activities in the spiritual world, by reading these pastimes, what happens is we begin to understand, wow, this is what awaits there? And then at least we can, with our own, just make a comparative analysis. What are the activities here? What are the activities there? And then each make our decision of where it is that we'd like to go. So Krishna comes and shows his activities to attract us to what awaits all of us when we return back home, back to Godhead. Because otherwise it just becomes some ambiguous goal. But to put some real substance behind it, to enthuse our determination to achieve it. Because the more detail we have about Hawaii, the more enthusiasm we have to go, the more detail we have about the activities of the Lord in the spiritual world, the more enthusiasm we'll have to reach it. So this is really why he comes. So now let's get into how he comes. Let me ask you a question. Any of you got to pick your birthday? Which day of the year you appeared? Anybody? Anybody who got to pick who your parents were? Anybody got to pick where they appeared? What city, what country? Anybody? No? Okay, so we're all in the same boat then. Actually, every living entity is forced to appear in this world in different ways by the laws of nature, based on our past actions. The laws of nature don't randomly assign people to different homes. It's not random. It's based on our past karma. Just like a professor at the end of the course doesn't randomly assign grades to students based on what they did during the course. Some get good grades, some get lower grades. Similarly, our birth in this world is based on our past activities, what we did in a prior life. And based on that, we get a certain birth in this world. So that is the nature of our appearance. But what is the nature of Krishna's appearance? We can say, well, he was forced to be born in a prison house. Was he forced to be born in a prison house? Krishna chooses when he appears, where he appears, to whom he appears, and how he appears. Now, why does Krishna get to choose, but none of us got to? Why? Because he is the Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara, controller. He is Parama, the supreme controller. You know, we all think we're controllers, right? Husband thinks he's controller, wife thinks they're controller. And what happens? Kurukshetra. But in reality, who is the supreme controller? Krishna. We have so much control that we cannot even control the growth of the fingernail on our finger. Yet we want to think, I am the big controller. But Krishna has complete control. So he chooses when, where, how, everything. That is the nature of his appearance. Very different from ours. So we must understand that when we see this verse in our Shastra, Nitya Nityananam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Krishna is eternal and we are eternal. Krishna is eternal, we are eternal. But are we the same? No. Because among all the eternals, Krishna is the supreme. Eko Bahonam Vidati Kaman. Of all eternals, one, Eko, is maintaining all the other eternals. Who is maintaining us? Shishi Radha. They are our maintainer. So that is the difference that we must understand. So Krishna's appearance. Also, we say appearance. We colloquially or casually say birthday of Krishna. But actually it is not birthday. Because birth implies beginning. And death implies end. I'll give you an example. When the sun rises in the morning, do we say, oh, the sun was born today at 5:55 a.m.? Do we say the sun was born? No. What do we say? The sun rises. The sun appeared in the eastern horizon at 5:55 a.m. Why do we say the sun appeared? Because we know the sun was just somewhere else previously. So like that, the actual the term for Sri Krishna Janmashtami is appearance day. Why? Because Krishna is always present. Just as the sun is always present, but not visible to our eyes at all times, similarly Krishna is always there. But he chooses to be present amongst us at different times. And when he leaves, does he die? Do we say the sun is about to die in the next hour and 55 minutes? No, we say it's going to set, meaning it's going to disappear and it'll be present somewhere else. Similarly, when Krishna leaves this world, he just goes somewhere else. So his appearance and disappearance, distinct or different than our appearance and disappearance. So we should have clarity on how Krishna appears. Now, we still want some more distinctions, right? How did Krishna appear in the prison house of Kamsa? In what form? Baby? Like all children? He appeared as a baby? No? Someone saying no? Chaturbhuj form. He appeared in a four-armed form. Was he dripping wet in all his bodily fluids from the amniotic sac and, filled with all kinds of things? How he looked? Beautifully ornated or decorated with royal crown, wonderful jewels, shark-shaped earrings, conch, club, lotus, disc, golden, bright golden dhoti and garments. Anyone has ever born like that? We have seen somebody born like that? No, it doesn't happen. Because again, Krishna is appearing not according to our material calculations. He is appearing transcendentally. And Vasudeva and Devaki are struck. Wow! I've never seen this before. Not exactly, I'm paraphrasing. That you can read in chapter 2 and 3 of this 10th canto. They're struck. And so what did he do? Devaki's thinking, this is my child? No, this is not my child. So what does she do? Her and Vasudevji begin to just glorify it. And they compose beautiful prayers. Oh, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, the Supreme Enabler. Just glorious prayer after prayer, glorifying the Supreme Lord. And they understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has chosen to appear as our child. But he is not our child. He has just chosen to appear this way. And then, of course, they ask, can you please assume a baby form so that we can take you to Gokul and protect you under the home of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda? We've seen any baby transform from big, giant, four-armed form to a beautiful baby? So this is the nature of Krishna's appearance. And the result is, at the end of the day, we are all searching for a higher power to surrender to. Whether our false ego allows us to admit it or not, it is the reality of the spirit soul. It has this intrinsic desire to love and to be supported by someone. And when we understand that it is Lord Shri Krishna who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the all-controlling, almighty, all-powerful lover, then we can rest comfortably within his arms and know in all circumstances we are loved and protected for, in any circumstance we may face. So by understanding that his appearance is not like ours, it helps us to understand the position of the Supreme Lord. And the only conclusion from understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord is that we should become his loving devotee. That is the logical conclusion. And that is why Krishna says, if you know about my Janma, my appearance, you can go back home, back to Godhead. But now, he says Janma Karma, to know about his activities. So let's discuss now his activities. We've established Krishna is supreme, and we are his loving devotees. We at least have established he has a birth and appearance far beyond anything we can do. That much we can at least agree on. Now, how to invoke this love for Krishna? Because our relationship with Krishna is complete with love. Sometimes in societal ways we speak about, fearing God. We talk about respecting God. But ultimately, the relationship is complete with love. Let me give an example. It works really well because my father is sitting right here, but I normally tell it anyways. If my relationship with my father was fully and completely only out of fear, I just feared what he said, would that be considered a healthy, perfect relationship? If my relationship with my father was purely, exclusively, just out of adoration and respect, but I wouldn't come close, I wouldn't get, casual, I would just keep distance and offer utmost respect, would I consider that relationship complete? When is that relationship complete? When it has love. When there is love, there's always going to be an aspect of respect and adoration. There'll be an aspect of some fear or at least inspiration to do the right thing. But that relationship becomes complete with love. That is our relationship with the Supreme Father. Because Krishna says, Aham bijaha pradaha pita. I am the seed-giving father of every living entity. Krishna is our eternal Father. And that relationship has the same relationship we try to have with our own material father. It should be full of love. Then it is complete. So how to love Krishna? Well, to love someone, we have to know about them, right? Can you just say, love Krishna, okay, I'm going to go love him? No, we have to know about him. And that is what 10th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. Hearing about the activities of Krishna. And when we hear about the activities of Krishna, we see how amazingly sweet he is, how loving he is, how much these different associates enjoy with Krishna, whether it's his mother and father, whether it's his servants, whether it's his friends, whether lovers, all are enjoying in full bliss. And this is the value, the potency of studying Krishna's pastimes, is that love in our heart begins to sprout. Because each and every one of us have this love for Krishna lying dormant within our heart. It is the intrinsic quality of each and every spirit soul. It is not something we have to go out and search or a new skill to develop. It is actually lying right here, but we have lost it. And by the practice of devotional service, by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can awaken that. But to be inspired to awaken it, let us discuss a few pastimes of the Lord in conclusion. And we'll discuss more on Friday. So, Krishna has many, many sweet pastimes. They're actually very difficult sometimes for us to understand. And that is why we have to understand the nature of his activities through Guru Parampara. Because if we see some of Krishna's activities, they're bewildering. How it is he fled from a battlefield. How he can be the supreme controller, yet he ran away from a battlefield. Right? How it is that he can steal the clothes of ladies taking bath in the river. How is that? Sometimes people say, what kind of God you have? He steals butter? What kind of God is this? Right? So when we try to apply our own conditioning, our own perspective, we'll become befuddled and confused. But when we understand the activities of the Lord through Shastra, through our acharyas, then they become amazingly sweet and very instructive as well. So in this 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, some very nice pastimes are discussed. And we'll just discuss them very briefly today. And maybe on Friday we'll have a chance to discuss them in a little bit more detail. Because I promise we'll also have some time for questions and answers as well. So what Krishna does? So Krishna performs many activities. In the house of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, he acts like a regular child. He's crawling around the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. And when Krishna and Balaram start to get some teeth, oh, Mother Yashoda and Rohini are so excited. They're counting the teeth. Any mother has done that before? Right? When their child gets teeth, they get excited and, oh, it's growing up. And then, as they get a little bit older, they start to walk and it's a big celebration. Oh, my child has grown up and is starting to walk. And like this, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are just relishing the sweetness of Krishna and Balaram growing up in their house. But let's understand Krishna and Balaram growing up. Do any of you get to decide, okay, today I'm going to age a little bit more, and then tomorrow I'm going to age a little bit more. Next day I'll grow a little bit taller, a little bit taller. Anyone got to decide like that? No. What is forcing us to go through the aging process? Time. By the presence of time, we are pushed from birth to youth to old age and ultimately to the end. That is forced by time. Yes, we can go to CVS or Walgreens and try to apply some anti-aging, concoctions, but at the end of the day, it's just a cover-up for reality. But is Krishna forced by time? Does he age? He doesn't age. At the time of speaking Bhagavad Gita, he was over 100 years old. Yet, his appearance, 16-year-old youthful boy. Why? Well, no, he was a baby and then grew up to be a 60, by time? No. Remember, he started in four-armed form, transformed to baby. And by his own desire, he grows a little bit in time. Why? To give more enjoyment to his devotees. Then he grows a little bit more and does new activities. It's a big deal that he's holding on to the calf's tail and sliding around in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. As the calves are running, Krishna and Balaram are each holding on to the calves, and like this they are standing up, as if they're learning to walk. But as a 7-day-old baby, he killed the giant demoness Putana. How is that possible? On one hand, he's learning to walk. On the other hand, he's destroying the giant demoness that when she fell, she created a new mountain within Vraj. Because Krishna is fully potent in all forms. He just chooses to change his activities to give more pleasure to his devotees. So he's not aging by time. He's aging by the desire. And Krishna has only one desire. What is that desire? To give happiness to his devotees. That is Krishna's only desire. To give more and more happiness to his devotees. And that is why Krishna is a butter thief. So how Krishna can be the thief of butter? Why? Because it gives supreme pleasure to all of Mother Yashoda's friends. So we know what happens, right? What does Krishna do? He goes into the house of the neighbors. He's in our day, a naughty young boy. And in the house of the neighbors, what does he do? He goes in very early morning, at the perfect time, just before the cows are going to be milked. And what he does, he opens up the pen to the calves, and all the calves go running to the cows and drink milk. And we know, those of us who grew up in village life, we know, first we milk the cows, then we bring the calves. Because if you bring the calves first, there'll be no milk. So then when the ladies go to milk the cows, well, their pots are empty. And they say, who's the culprit? That little Krishna and Balaram. They come at the perfect time. Then, that's not enough. Then whatever milk we did get, we've made nice yogurt, nice butter. And what do? When we're not looking, they are stealing it and eating it. Like this, they are flogging a whole laundry list of complaints to Mother Yashoda. Every day they go to Mother Yashoda's house and they complain like this. You know what your Krishna did? But of course they came because they knew Krishna would be seated right at the feet of Mother Yashoda, looking so cutely at Mother Yashoda, like an innocent boy, while these ladies are lodging the complaints. Is that not only did they eat our butter, then we realized, okay, we have to put it, a little bit secure location. So they put it in a dark room. No lights. Children don't like dark places. They won't go. But the problem is, Krishna and Balaram are adorned with such beautiful jewels that when they walk in the room, they create light themselves, they see the butter, and they enjoy. But the nerve of these two boys, what they do? When we accuse them of stealing, what they say? Oh, you think we don't have enough butter in our house? We have to steal your butter? We're not stealing your butter. Like this, they tell us lies right to our face. Their hands are full. They're caught white-handed, full of butter. Yet still they're speaking like this. But even more, what they do. Then what we do, we tie the butter pots high in the ceiling so they can't get them, even in a dark room. But these kids are really unstoppable. They stack boxes on top of each other and they climb up. And still if they can't reach, what they do? They throw a stone and they poke a hole and they sit underneath and let the butter and yogurt drip into their mouths. They are relentless. But we have one problem. Every time we go to chastise them, to yell at them, to raise our hand, they just smile at us and we melt. We just melt. We can't do anything. So beautiful, this smile, that we forget everything. But these boys are so restless. They even agitate us more. They're feeding the monkeys all our yogurt and milk. And when the monkeys are full, and they'll take no more, they try to feed and they say, see, even this yogurt and butter, even the monkeys will eat. What bad quality yogurt and butter you're making. And like this, they irritate us. And if they really want to get to us, when our babies are sleeping, they go and pinch them and then run away, so then they're crying and our household duties are disturbed. And like this, the elderly gopis are complaining to Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini all the time. But of course, what they are doing, each day enjoying the opportunity to speak about Krishna and Balaram's pastimes. They are so much happy. Mother Yashoda says, okay, fine. If you should worried about your yogurt and butter, keep it in a secure place. As we do, but they come in anyways. And he says, well, then okay, I won't put any jewels on the Krishna and Balaram tomorrow. So you won't be able to find your butter in a dark place. And the gopis say, no, then even that won't work. They have some kind of effulgent personality amongst themselves, that even without jewels, they can create light. And like this, they give this back and forth. And at the end of the day, all they can do, the main reason they've lodged their complaints, they want to see Krishna sitting at the feet of Mother Yashoda, smiling and looking innocent. Just for that. Actually, what they do, every morning there's a competition. What is this competition? All the gopis get up as early as possible and they make fresh butter and yogurt just so that Krishna and Balaram will come to their house to steal their butter and yogurt. This is the sweet activity of Krishna. He is Atmarama. He is self-satisfied. He doesn't need our butter and yogurt. He doesn't need any of that. But what does he want? Our love. We may offer the Lord the most opulent of offerings, but he's not going to go hungry if we don't give him chapatis tomorrow. Trust me. But what he is hungry for? Our love. And the gopis gave so much love to Krishna through this pastime of stealing the butter. that they became so happy. And this is a transcendental nature. Even complaining about Krishna is sweet and gives pleasure. This is the absolute nature of the Lord. But Balaram and the cowherd boys, they were a little bit disturbed. They're thinking, Mother Yashoda never gets mad at Krishna. He's creating so much mischief, but he never gets mad at him. So one day, the cowherd boys and Balaram, they made a plan. Like boys get together, they make a plan. They think it's bulletproof, perfect plan, and then they execute it. And what was their plan? They lodged a complaint to Mother Yashoda. They said, okay, the elderly gopis complaining to Mother Yashoda did not arouse her anger, and Krishna got away scot-free, looking innocent. This time we're going to get him. So if all of us boys, we're going to coalesce together, we're going to tell that, hey, Krishna, he ate mud. We know when a mother hears child ate mud, what do? They run very quickly and don't do that. So Mother Yashoda tells Krishna, I got the report that you are eating mud. Even Lord Balaram has said, now it must be true. Why are you eating mud? We have so many nice sweets in the house. Nanda Baba has so many cows. Milk and everything is here. Why are you eating mud? You know better. Mama, Maya, they're lying. They're all liars. They all ganged up on me. They're upset at me because I won some competition. So even Lord Balaram, they all got together and telling this lie against me. They're lying. Mother Yashoda is now perplexed. Really? They're lying? You don't believe me, Mother? I don't know. Balaramji would never lie. Oh, Maya, trust me, they're lying. You don't believe? You want proof? Yeah, I want proof. So what does he do? You look inside my mouth. And he opens his mouth. Krishna is sitting on the lap of Mother Yashoda, looking so sweetly, being accused of lying. Being lied about. And so he opens his mouth. And what does Mother Yashoda see? The whole universe. She sees the entire universe. Imagine looking into the small space and seeing all the planets, all the solar systems, seeing fire, air, earth, water, ether, seeing the three modes of material nature, seeing everything. Not only that, seeing herself with Krishna on her lap within. She is completely bewildered. She's like, am I dreaming? No, I'm awake. I'm not dreaming. What is going on? She cannot contemplate what she is seeing. And her only conclusion is, this must be the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. And let me offer my obeisances. And she offers her obeisances over and over again. She's completely stunned. How her child, who she was just chastising and accusing of eating mud, has the whole of creation within his mouth. And she's confused. And so she offers her obeisances. Now Krishna, sitting on her lap, becomes a little bit disturbed. Why? Because now Mother Yashoda has lost her motherly affection to Krishna. She is not seeing Krishna. She is speaking high philosophy about, illusory energies and the Brahmanda and all these things. And he wants motherly love. So Mother Yashoda comes under the influence of Krishna's supreme illusory energy. Mother Yashoda, in order to enhance her love for Krishna, actually forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just a moment before, she sees the whole universe within his mouth. And an instant later, she is carrying him back to her home and going to feed her breast to him for his lunch. How this is possible? Because Krishna, in order to intensify the love between his devotees and him, even helps them forget his Lord. Because if we remember this is Krishna, we'll just offer respects and dandavat pranams. But actually Krishna enjoys running in the forest with the cowherd boys, wrestling with them, playing with them in the rivers and in the caves. He enjoys his mother and father chastising him and playing with him. He enjoys in all these very sweet ways. And so these are the activities of the Lord. But if we don't understand how he is a butter thief, we think, wow, he has some lost morals, he is hungry because he is missing something. We draw all these ridiculous conclusions. But we should understand one thing. Every action of Krishna has only one goal. Only one goal. And that is to please his devotees. He doesn't even act to please himself, because his happiness comes from his devotees being happy. And that is why in the spiritual world it is full of ananda, bliss. Because Krishna only lives to give happiness to his devotees. And his devotees have only one goal. And what is that? To give happiness to Krishna. His devotees give everything to Krishna for his happiness. This is the two-way street of love between us and Krishna. It is not a one-way street. It is a two-way exchange of pure love. And let me ask you this. If we give everything to Krishna, and Krishna gives everything back to us that he has, who wins in that transaction? Right? Like when the child empties his pockets for the father and buys some gift. Who gets the bigger gift back? Krishna. Sometimes we wonder, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha yusma suja. He says, you abandon all varieties of religion and you just surrender unto me. Mamekam, only me. And we wonder, wow, if I surrender everything to you, Krishna, what happens to me? But remember, Krishna only has one activity. That is to give happiness to all of his devotees. And whatever we may give, he gives many millions times more back to us. That's what makes him the Supreme Lord and us his infinitesimal tiny spark. And we'll see this in the exchange of Krishna with the fruit vendor, which I'll just end there by knowing when the fruit vendor gave Krishna a few fruits, what she got back in return, that we'll discuss possibly on Friday. So, thank you very much. This appearance of Lord Shri Krishna Janmashtami is more than just a cultural celebration, more than just a sentimental ritual, but it is a calling to bring the experience of Krishna into our heart. When we understand how he appears and the nature of his activities, we become convinced that he is my loving Lord. And when we see the sweet exchanges between Krishna and his devotees, it should inspire us that I also want to experience that. And Krishna gives the guarantee. Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nashteva, 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 Gateva. That by chanting the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By this single process of chanting the holy names of the Lord, one acquires all qualifications to become the intimate friend, parental mood, lover, a servant of the most wonderful Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we pray on the Shri Krishna Janmashtami that we beg for his blessings so that we may become inspired to pursue such a path and take giant steps forward. And on Janmashtami, how to observe it? Come to the temple, render service to the Lord by singing for him, chanting his holy names, reading his books. And if you really want to please Krishna on his appearance day, hear his statements where he says that one who becomes a devotee of my devotee is most dear to me. In the Padma Puran it says that one who worships Lord Krishna is supreme. But even higher than that is one who worships the devotee of Krishna. So rendering service to the devotees is a great opportunity on Sri Krishna Janmashtami. We have lots of service opportunities for Janmashtami. Anybody would like to participate? Starting Wednesday, you can come and help set up for the festival. Who are you serving? All the guests of Krishna who will come and have a good experience. By just setting up one table here, one chair here, whatever it is, whatever our capacity is, we are rendering service to Krishna's devotee. And Krishna tells Uddhav in the Uddhav Gita 11th canto that one who becomes the devotee of my devotee is most dear to me. So come and render some service, even for 5 minutes. On Friday you can come, chop some vegetables for the feast that all the devotees will eat. There's a race in the kitchen to cook for Krishna. But actually more pleasing than cooking for Krishna is cooking for Krishna's guests. Just like if somebody pleases us, we may be pleased. But somebody pleases our child, we become infinitely more happy. So take this opportunity for Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Come and enjoy, and also render a little bit of service, and you will see your experience grow many, many times more than you could ever imagine. So you can see Brajakumar Prabhu, Lilashman Prabhu, and guide you on how you can participate and come enjoy the cultural activities, Abhishek, swinging of Krishna. We'll take Krishna on a boat. There'll be a firework performance, so many dramas. You can see the midnight arti, unlimited festivities, prasadam up to your throat, and enjoy Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, comments, corrections, clarifications, please? I'm sorry I went a little bit long, but yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for your lecture. During the lecture, you said that Krishna